Hello. Before we start today's episode, if you would like a condensed version of what I'm talking about in this podcast, go ahead and subscribe to the Perfectionist Guide. You can read the entire thing in 3 minutes or less. To access this, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/newsletter. Are you a bit of a perfectionist? Type A, hyper performer? Then you know that having the audacity to see an ideal and bring it into reality while breaking generational habits of hustle can be tough, but it doesn't have to be. If you are ready to burn bright instead of burning out, to lead without losing yourself, and to enjoy the life you have worked so hard to create, then keep listening. I'm your host, America's leader on rewiring perfectionism, CLG, and this is Perfectionism Rewired, the podcast. Welcome to Perfectionism Rewired. Today we're talking about catastrophizing. Catastrophizing is when you play out worst case scenarios in your head about what could happen in the future. For many perfectionists, it's a sport, and catastrophizing is a sport that clients this week inside of Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator, my 6-week fast track one-on-one coaching, that was a sport some of y'all wanted to medal in as though you were going to the Olympics. When you're catastrophizing, you're living in fear. My goal with this episode and every Perfectionism Rewired episode is to bring you back to reality, because when perfectionists aren't living in fear, we do amazing things. But we can't do that when we are raging a war against reality. I asked Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator clients why they were catastrophizing, because they're not psychopaths. I know you're not a psychopath, which means that there is some sort of secondary gain. There is a benefit that our subconscious is perceiving that we get from catastrophizing. And when I asked, there's a belief that this amount of worrying is protecting you. So if I catastrophize this to death in my head, it'll work out, or I'll be less disappointed if things go wrong. I'll be more prepared. If you want to catastrophize, go on with your bad self. A spoiler alert for you, though, is that when you catastrophize, you get the outcome of catastrophe. It's like gravity. It just is. A great analogy for this is it's like you want to use peanut butter, and you're telling me that peanut butter is the only thing you are going to use for your meal. When you do that, it's only going to taste like peanut butter. You can use all the peanut butter in the world. That will not change your dinner into a grass-fed petite filet steak. Like peanut butter, never going to get that. Catastrophizing, you're never going to get calm. Catastrophizing can actually become an addictive way to avoid what's actually going on in our lives. When you are focusing your energy on these larger scale fantasy, because you're not in reality when we're catastrophizing, when you're in this large scale fantasy catastrophe, you're not doing anything in the present. You are immobilizing yourself. As perfectionists, we often think that somehow if we stop worrying, you'll be less prepared if and when disaster strikes, because you haven't played through all of the scenarios in your head. Or if you stop worrying, it's saying that you don't care somehow. Like, if I don't worry about the bad choices that my child's making, I'm an awful parent. I don't care. A client told me, she is a heart surgeon, that the further along she has risen in her career, this catastrophizing mindset, it's what gives her a little bit of panic to make sure she's always doing a good job. There are a lot of other ways that you can make sure that you are always doing a good job, which my client and I workshopped in our session this week. But do you relate to that at all? That catastrophizing, you feel that if you were to stop doing it, you would be less prepared, that somehow if you stop worrying, it must mean that you don't care. But if you stop catastrophizing, it means that you really trust. It means that you have more energy if disaster does strike. It means that you will be clear-headed for the heart surgeries. It means that you will be a less stressed perfectionist. And that is how you build your reputation with yourself. That is how you increase your self-confidence, your self-esteem, your resilience. And if there is something to fear, you get to wait until it happens and be fearful then. Like, that's the thing that we're forgetting. It's like, why be frightened about a thought of a possible future catastrophe when it's only a thought in your head that is producing this movie that you're living in? We go through this transformation with ourselves when we choose to say, hey, this catastrophizing, it's not helping me. And you redirect yourself into, I'm going to let this cockroach of catastrophizing crawl on by, and I won't act on it. I won't speak about it. Every time it comes up, nope, 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 unsubscribe. Once you can think clearly without the stress of your painful catastrophizing thoughts, your whole world as a perfectionist will open up for you. A fearful perfectionist is limited. You can only see very few options in front of you. But when you are clear, you see a plethora of options, unlimited options, and you can act efficiently, effortlessly, and intelligently, 3 of our favorite things as perfectionists, in the present moment. Why? Because you are no longer stuck in the deadly stories of catastrophe, of, well, this happened in the past, so why don't I pretend that's going to happen in the future? If you still really, really want to catastrophize, one thing that you can do that will improve it for you. If you're going to go into fantasizing and catastrophizing, be honest with yourself and say, I don't feel like being in touch with reality today. I think I'll just catastrophize. Like, go ahead, but don't tell yourself that there's nothing that you can do. And also, don't lie to yourself and tell yourself that you're doing this because you're just an anxious person, because you're worried or you're fearful. Because truth booth, if you were very worried or fearful and truly, truly anxious, why would you ever take your eye off the ball of the present? There is an incongruence there. Do you see that? Like, stop letting yourself off the hook and start saying, I'm going to choose to spin out and worry and anxiety and catastrophize. I'm going to imagine every single thing I don't ever want to happen. Yep, I'm going to choose that. But even during this, you start to get a little conscious. You start to get a little bit more in touch with reality because you're saying, I'm choosing this. And let yourself know that you are choosing to catastrophize, because if you were truly anxious, if you were truly worried, if you were truly fearful, like scared for your life, or just like, oh, I am so overcome with worry, you wouldn't be imagining terrible things in the future. Why? Because all the terrible things would be happening to you right now, and you would be moving in the present. By you owning your choices and refusing to lie to yourself, this is how you become a powerful perfectionist. You build it one choice at a time. And once it's questioned, the beliefs of like, is catastrophizing, is that actually helping me? You get to find the beauty in what's happening right now. You become open and free. A judging mind, it makes your world very small and dangerous. Until you wake up to the reality in the moment, it's very difficult, even impossible, to be present. Have you noticed that? That like the only thing that can really ever cause you stress is the story of a past or a future. Like, what I love about the past is that it's over. And what I love about the future is that it doesn't exist yet. When you begin to question your patterns, you begin to see clearly. I want you to imagine that, what that's like, instead of blindly believing and having this anguish because you are believing what your mind is telling you. You begin to find better answers that actually bring your ideals into reality. And when you discover those answers, you begin to do inquiry with yourself in integrity. And inquiry in integrity becomes what you are familiar with instead of catastrophizing. You become addicted to integrity, and integrity does not suffer. Ever. The kind of freedom that I just described, I want that for you too. And if that's what you want, you are invited to Perfectionism Optimized, where we can work together one-on-one and you will quit catastrophizing forever. You can go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/optimized. You can also click on the link in the show notes. If all you want for Christmas is calm, you definitely want to tune in to tomorrow's episode. I am giving you a strategy that you can use so that you can take control of your anxiety instantly. And it doesn't involve meditation, works better than Xanax. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Listen up. Taking charge of your perfectionism is so much easier than you have been led to believe. Whether you want to stop playing out worst case scenarios in your head or be joyfully present ambitious again, you don't need more rigid rules, guesswork, or hard work in perfectionism recovery. You need a framework that helps you understand and, most importantly, rewire your perfectionistic habits from the inside out. It starts with my 6-week Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator. Besides the obvious mental health and wellness benefits, rewiring your perfectionism is the fastest way to figure out what's really underneath your perfectionistic patterns. This radically different, proven, proprietary approach helps you succeed by dropping the contempt and judgment that blocks change. Discover how to trust yourself, take control of your world, and feel truly empowered to own your perfectionism instead of being owned by it. Head on over to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/accelerator and start your transformation today.